Hi, this is Melissa with A Creative Journey with Melissa, and today I'm going to show you how to have fun with watercolors. Now we have our watercolor pencils, and we also have our watercolor washables, just like you get like when you're in kindergarten. I don't know about you, but the school starting and stuff, it reminds me of how much I used to love going school shopping and, excuse me, getting all the school supplies and stuff. School itself, after about 3 or 4 weeks, maybe not so much, but for sure the art supplies and the fun drawing stuff, I always did love that. So what I'm going to show you is not any fancy ways or techniques or anything, because this is pretty simple and it's really easy, and it super duper makes it super duper easy. So using washable watercolors, it's simple. You've got water, it washes, it cleans. That's it. It's pretty simple. So if you are lucky, you can go to one of the stores that may sell school supplies, and you can get some of these for super duper cheap. If not, they're still relatively inexpensive, and they even have them at the dollar store. They may not be name brand, but they're basically the same premise, so you're good. And what I'm also doing is we're going to be using some watercolor paper, and I suggest you use watercolor paper because otherwise it will bow and it'll ripple and stuff, and you don't really like to have that on your creations. So that's why I'm using watercolor paper. Now with the watercolor paper, there is a texture side, as you can see, and then there is a flatter side. It looks like it's textured, but it's not. So make sure you pay attention to which side, especially if you're stamping, because note to self, make sure you're doing it on the flat side, because sometimes you'll get a bad image if you don't do them that way. So at any rate, the other thing too I wanted to show you is that we are using our awesome stamp set, Petals for You. Now this stamp set I love for a number of reasons, but you could use it for a whole bunch of different occasions, as well as you can also make it a masculine card too. The reason why I created it the way I did, you look at the flowers, you think, oh no, there's no way we can do this for a guy because it may be too feminine for that person, or maybe the gentleman likes flowers. Who knows? Whatever you like is what is best. But if you wanted to make something that didn't have any flowers on it, you could use Thinking of You, you could use Celebrate, For You, or of course Thank You. And Celebrate is great for anything. Could be for birthday, could be for wedding, anniversary, engagement, whatever. So you could use it for that. But the coolest thing is you could also just use this as part of your design and then add these two right here to it, and this cute little one right there, the circles, and those circles, and you can make a really cool card with awesome effects and an awesome background. Okay, so this is the stamp set we're using. If you want to check out our stamp sets, you can go to www.acreativejourneywithmelissa.com or www.acjwm.com, and you will be able to find them there. So with that, I will get going. We're just going to need our paper right now and our ink to stamp with. And we don't really need our water, but I'll just leave it right there. It's just easier. And we also don't need these, so I'll put those aside. Okay, so as you can see here, these stamps are very, very well loved, and I just hit my elbow, and very, very well loved. So if you saw that, it was an earthquake, it was Melissa hitting her elbow. You can see that there's some staining on here. Depending on what kind of ink you use, depends on whether or not it will stain. Some inks do stain, some inks don't. If they do stain your stamp, don't worry about it, it's no problem. They still will stamp perfectly fine, so don't worry about that. Just be careful when you're using solvent-based inks or cleaners that sometimes it will degrade the photopolymer over time, so you want to make sure you use that sparingly. With that said, I am going to take off this here flower and this flower, and I'm going to take out our handy-dandy little block. I love this block. It's awesome. It's great grip, and it's perfect for me to use. I love it. It's great. And we are selling these in our website if you want to check them out. We have a few different sizes, and they're fantastic. And my favorite part of it is the grid that you can line up stuff. Love it, love it, love it. Anyway, with that, I'm just going to put this right on here. We don't need to line it up or anything. We're just going to simply take this stamp. And as you know, or maybe you don't, if this is the first time you're watching or the first time you're looking at clear stamps, this is photopolymer, and photopolymer by design and nature and material is sticky. So it will just stick on there. It just sticks, okay? So we're just gonna stamp right here after we ink our image. I'm going to stamp a few. I'm just going to stamp one more on this one, I think. Okay, so we have that one. And I'm going to clean this off. I have a little scrubber pad right here. And I'm going to put this aside, and I'm going to use my little one. Okay, so we'll just do this, ink a little, and just make a few images there. And if you want to, with this stamp set, designed for this specifically, is you can even put this cutie right inside and it fits perfect. I may not have lined it up very well, but it does fit pretty well. Anyway, so I just thought I'd show you that so you can see how cool that is. So if you want to do different colors, you could do different layering. Kind of neat. At any rate, I am going to put this away. Don't need this anymore. And we don't need the ink anymore. So all we need here is the images and our watercolors. I'm going to put my stamp away on its cling sheet. There we go. Okay. And then we're going to take out our pencils. Now I'm going to show you the pencils because those are a little bit more detail. And then I'll show you with the other ones if I can open this up. I really am my own worst enemy. Now the cool thing is it shows you all the different colors in this set. I don't know that they're any better or worse. I know that there's some really super duper fancy ones. For my purposes, these are great, and I got them in a garage sale, so yay for me. The other thing I want to show you too is this probably looks like a really cool invention, right? Pretty neat, huh? So yeah, what this is packaging. I know you're probably sick of me talking about it, but I like to think of different ways to reuse stuff because it's important for our environment, of course. Well, these cute little magnets came in here. So they came in with two at a time. So I thought, oh, that's perfect for water, so I can use that, or paint, or whatever I need it for. So I thought that'd be really cool. So with that, you can use these watercolor pencils. You can use them on just about anything. Anything that you would use ink or paint or whatever, you can use in watercolors. You're going to get a softer, less intense color, or it basically will not, opaque, that's the word I think I'm looking for. You won't have an opaque look. You will have a, again, see, we're 3 for 3 today. Anyway, you get my point. You'll be able to see through it versus not being able to see through it. Again, brain's not working today. So with that, we're going to make an orange flower and then another orange flower. So we're going to do, typically for a flower, you would have darker on the inside and lighter in the outside because the sun typically will fade it out at the ends. And as it dies off, it usually makes it a little bit lighter. So I'm going to plan for that here. And I'm kind of going overboard here with the color, but the when I put water to it, you'll see how beautiful it looks and how great it works. Okay, so that's that. Now, what I'm going to try to do, which I haven't done before, so this is a first time shot for me, is I'm going to add water to both and try to kind of fade it in so that it doesn't look like there's a line, except obviously you're going to see the line from the stamps. So that's what I'm going to try to do. And you don't have to be perfect about it. That's the cool thing with watercolor. You could fill in with your paintbrush. Now they also have aqua pens, which basically hold water, so you can squeeze out a little bit of water and use them that way, and they're reusable. Those are really cool too. I do have one. I'm not sure where it is. It disappeared, and I'm thinking I might have gifted it to someone. For some reason that sounds familiar, but I'm not positive. So I think that's where it went. Irrelevant. This is, I'm using number, let's see, what numbers are these? Number 2. And I think number 24. I think that's the numbers I'm using in this set. So with that, I'm just going to simply take one of my little brushes here, and I'm just going to take a little bit of water. I'm just going to start adding it here. See how that looks? Here, I'm going to show you before I really get started, so you can see how dark it is and how you're just pulling the color in. So you're just going to pull it in. I do like the outline look of it, but I'm going to try to get rid of it so it doesn't look so obvious. And then we have this here. Just pulling that orange in. I really like the way that's looking. It looks pretty cool. So we're just going to simply add some water and then pull through the red, or the red or orange, if you will, and do the same and just keep going. So it's pretty simple. I mean, like I said, it's not too hard to do. It's just doing it and taking the time. And similar to what a lot of people are doing is like the color therapy. This is very therapeutic as well. And you can do a lot of different things. You can make your own backgrounds. You can do a whole bunch of cool stuff. You can be fancy. You can try to be particular, or you can be like me and just kind of throwing some water on and just making it look pretty in its own right. And that's what I'm doing right now. So it's fun. Keeps me out of trouble-ish. I think anything that keeps me out of trouble, everybody in my family would be thrilled about. Which, I'm not in trouble a lot. Kind of. Anyway. So we're just going to pull some of this color in. And I could make it super duper, really pull that red in if I wanted to, or the orange red if I really wanted to, like I am here. I'll show you a close-up in just a second. Or I can make it a little bit more of the line like it is in the rest of them. But I really like the way it looks, and you'll see when I show you the close-up how the paper is not buckling, which is important because you don't want to have it buckle in a really important project. So, woo! Flying! We're just trying to, I guess my paintbrush was done too, huh? So I'm going to show you here, if you can see, right there, there's a super close-up of me trying to get rid of that line on the outside. It's still a little darker, which it should be, but then you can see the other ones and how dark they really are. I love the way that it looks. I just think it's really super duper cool. Let's see here. Just add a little bit of water, fill it in a little bit. Like I said, it's not, you can be kind of, I don't want to say lazy, but I guess lazy or not particular. Or you can be super particular. That's totally up to you. Now, if you want you want to add a little bit of color, you're thinking, okay, Melissa, that's all great and fine and everything, but I really don't think it's giving me enough. So you can just add a little bit here, like so. At least this is what I do. There may be a specific way you're supposed to do it, but this is what I do. And then I just move it around. Like so. I'm getting little pieces up here. I don't know why that is. Good thing I have a paper towel. I would say too that it's important for you always to have a paper towel with you, because you do not want to not. So here we go. I'm pulling this. Almost seems like there's little pieces of the paper coming up, which is weird because it's watercolor paper, so I'm not sure why that would be. But if anybody knows, please comment. I think it's bizarre. There we go. Let's try this again. Yeah, it's weird. It's just like the paper is coming off. Huh, odd. Well, let's try with another one. I don't like the way that looks. Usually when I do that, it spreads pretty well. Maybe it's because these are inexpensive pencils, it doesn't spread super well. So we're going to do something else. How about if we do one of these? Now, my paintbrush is a little dirty, but we're good because it looks like it's still showing clear, so we're good with that. So now what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to learn from my lesson. We're going to try this. So if I do a really light line like in the middle like this, barely touching it, that'll probably give me a little bit more color, like so. See that? See how scribbly it is? That's funny. Okay, so then we have this right here. I'm going to do super dark, just as an outline. And we'll see what happens with this one. But like I said, you can play with the watercolor pencils. They're a little bit better for when you're coloring in images and you want a specific color or specific look. The watercolors themselves that I'm going to be showing you in just a second, those actually work really well with any kind of image, but they won't really fill in as specific as these will. Unless you have a super duper great brush. Yeah, these aren't working as well as I had hoped. I think it might be the type they are, which is a bummer. So, let's see here. Still looks kind of cute though. I like the little wiggly lines in there. It's just a little bit more obvious than I wish it would have been. And I did it pretty light too, so bummer. You could see what it looks like there. I don't think I would like it very much like that. So let's stick with the paint and see what we can do with that. I think we'll have better luck. For some reason these pencils are maybe I don't know, maybe they've hardened over the time. It's just crazy. I don't know. Anyway, so that was a dud, but that's okay. That's why I film the way I do. This is real stuff, people. I don't edit, because if I do, then I look perfect, and I am far from perfect, as you can hear my singing voice. Okay, let's see what we got here. I think I'm just going to use an orange, okay? So we just, like when we were kids, I'm always a kid, but when we were kids, we just add a little water and start painting, and that's it. Yeah, I like the way this looks much better. And I'm going to try to get that orange-red look too. Just add a little bit more water. And I guess you can get relatively precise, just not the lines, which I don't like the lines, so that's good. At least in this particular situation. If you were coloring a character, or you were coloring something that had definitive lines, or you needed to show some type of depth, then that would definitely be important. As far as the lines go on a stamped image. But if you don't have that, you can make depth, you can create depth with just a darker or lighter color. So that's also another thing to think about. There's a lot of things you can do with watercolor. Okay, so this is my watercolor flower with my super duper inexpensive paints. Now you can see the difference. Whoops. See the difference there. I don't obviously really like the way this one looks over here. I like the way this one looks, but not as much for this one. That's okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little red to it. Just a little bit. I'm going to show you how cool it is. How you can just pull up a piece that just fell off of something. I don't know where blue came in, but it did. Okay. Add some water. I'm adding water to it just so we have a lot more fluidity. If that's the right word. Yeah, fluidity. Yeah. I'm giving you a lot of material to work with, people. I think you'll enjoy it. You'll come back and go, oh, I need to laugh. Oh, let's go watch one of Melissa's videos. Entertainment at its finest. So I really like the way this looks. Now what I'm going to do, first I'm going to show you what this looks like so you can see close up. Okay. Show you that close up. Now I'm going to take a dry brush just to give it a little bit of a different look and just give it a little texture. And I'll show you that in just a second. Okay. Now you can see how it's got just a little bit of texture and you can see a little bit more lines. So it's kind of fun to play with the watercolor. I do like it. It's you could also use watercolor on those coloring books that you have. Those are really cool too. I'm going to fix this by coloring it with red. So I'm going to color right over it with red because it's annoying me. So let's do this. It's weird because it's almost like this paint, although watercolor, is blending much better with those pencils. Don't ask me why. I really don't know. But if you know, tell me! But yeah, it's covering it up pretty well, which is surprising. Either that or for some reason maybe it's blending better now. I don't know, but it wasn't blending very well before, that's for sure, as you saw. So, we improvise, don't we? Well, this is my watercoloring extravaganza for today. Like I said, I'm not an expert, I just love it. I think it's cool, it's fun, it's super duper easy, and cleanup is easy and fast. So if you really wanted to, you could really take this on a plane, buy a water bottle, and use the cap as a little water dispenser, and then make sure you just take it and rinse it out really well, and you're good to go. So that sounds like fun, doesn't it? As long as you're not on a plane with a lot of turbulence, that would be bad. And a mess, wouldn't it? Be a big mess. At any rate, thank you so much for coming and joining us today. I really hope that you enjoyed this interesting and yet informative tutorial. I really, really, really do enjoy my weeks with you, and I hope that you enjoy them too. Please make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel and to our blog/email list. If you are subscribed to both, you will be put in for a giveaway every week. So make sure you do that, or else I have to bypass your name, which is really a bummer because I do check every week. So if you weren't subscribed last week and you are this week, you are in. Trust me. So anyway, please make sure that you check us out on YouTube and check out our our websites and our stamps. We have some awesome stamp sets for awareness ribbons. We have for autism, breast cancer, cancer, and we have a few sets that will work generically for any awareness ribbon cause. So we really do appreciate you coming and checking us out and spending some creative time with us. And thank you so much for going on a creative journey with Melissa. Have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.